Welcome back to the channel, Married at First Sight fans. And in this video number 3, we are talking Woody and Amani from Married at First Sight season 11 and their journey throughout the process. Because as we do know, decision day and actually reunion is coming up this week. So decisions have to be made, and we are going to talk about their journey on the show. So if you are new here, feel free to smash the subscribe button to continue to get quality content on dating reality shows. Also, if you like the video, smash the like button and comment down below, because I like engaging with my subs. So without further ado, let's get started. So in regards to Woody and Amani, when Woody first came on the show, the narrative that was put out was that he was this flamboyant player who lived with his grandmother and that he would never settle down, and he was not going to take this seriously outside of his buddy Miles, which we'll talk about him in his own video. But in regards to Woody, he was looked upon as a guy who would never settle down. And boy, were we wrong. I was rooting for them from the beginning, but a lot of fans did not take him seriously. They was waiting for the shoe to drop and everything else. And then we have Amani, who has a stepfather and her biological father actively in her life. She also works, because here's the thing, Woody is, just to let you guys know, Woody happens to be a Baylor alumnus. I don't know if you guys knew that. And also, he has a master's and a bachelor's degree, and he's a dean of students at the school he worked for, and he also teach Algebra 2 and Calculus. So, this is a smart brother right here. And then also, Amani works as a coordinator when it comes to education as well. So those two, when they had the conversation at the wedding, that was one of the first things they said that they had in common. And their chemistry clicked right off the bat. Amani is that girl who was relaxed. She loved a joke. She also came off of a relationship where she found out that the dude she was dating was married. So a lot of us was wondering if she was going to bring that baggage into the relationship. And interesting, on the honeymoon, they had that conversation, because she said to Woody, I don't want to make you subject to and paying for the mistakes of, people that has done things to me in my past, which I really appreciate that. I like the fact that she was saying that she was able to do that. And so far, throughout the season and the 15 episodes that we've watched, it seems that that's the case. Woody was smitten with her almost immediately, and she went with it. It wasn't where she was guarded or, I don't know about this dude because I hear about, this guy who never want to settle down. And so she just let it come as it may. I mean, she took him for what she saw, and I guess she figured if there's something, I know how to set boundaries, and I'll deal with it. But they had a great time at the honeymoon. They clicked. They even took showers together. I don't know if you guys remember that. But the only other thing that really happened, because it wasn't too much that happened this season, the one thing that did come up was the situation about the cutting of the hair and the being able to have conversations before you make decisions in the house. She took immediate offense to the fact that he thought, oh, you can't cut my hair without your approval. No, what he was saying was, we need to have a conversation about it. It's not like I'm going to tell you not to cut your hair, but just at least give me a heads up so I'll know what to expect. And I totally got that. And, I'm glad Pastor Cal was there at that conversation to kind of dig deep and find out why he felt the way he felt. And again, we remember that it was a situation where one of his exes got pregnant, the child was aborted, he had he didn't know nothing about it, and it took him out of the equation. Now granted, people can do what they want with their bodies, but when it comes to a relationship or marriage, just have a conversation. There's nothing wrong with that. Let me know, give me a heads up or something. So I totally understand what he came from. And then Amani was also able to appreciate his thoughts on that. And they got past it. She didn't hold it over his head. She didn't walk around with an attitude or anything else, and that wasn't to be expected anyway, but she took it in stride. She listened and everything, and they moved past that. And that's the thing I like about Woody and Amani, is that they're very good at conflict resolution, which I think is one of the great things about their relationship. Another thing I do admire about Woody is the fact that he's able to be vulnerable with her. I mean, he talked about the fact of him putting himself through counseling, the issues with his father. His father was in jail. He come out of jail trying to be a father in his life, and Woody was just so disconnected from that. Anger issues that he had to work through. And he was open and honest with her. He was also open and honest about his feelings about her. And she was very receptive to it. Now, she didn't force herself to pressure herself to tell him, I love you, at the same time he did. But at the same time, Woody was okay with that. He was kind of taken aback, but he was like, you know what? She gets to say that when she feels ready. And he allowed her to do that. And of course, as we well know, she did. She eventually set it up real nice. They give gifts to each other. They compliment each other. They're intimate with each other. They look like they understand each other's love languages. All of the above. Now, as we get further into the season, the other thing that came up was about these DMs. Now, the thing is that she was joking about, let me see all those hoes you got in your DM. And he's like, well, wait a minute, what are you talking about? I don't know what's in my DM, and why are you even asking to see my phone? And there's mixed reviews about that. You got some people that says, well, if you ain't got nothing to hide, let me see your phone. Then there's other folks that say, hey, we're both adults. You got to understand and trust me, and we all have privacy. So I don't know where each one of you stand on that side of the fence, but that was definitely a subject that came up. But again, conflict resolution, as she stated, we talked about it and we got past it. And come to find out, he didn't even know. I mean, I get stuff in my DMs. I don't know those people. They send messages. I delete them. Probably the same thing with him. I mean, he's a sociable person. There might have been people who popped in there from way before they got married. He never checked them, and he let it go. She let it go. They talked about it, and that was a great thing. So, I don't want to open up a whole new discussion about that, because this is just a recap of the season for them and their journey. But that was just a big conversation that they had to come up. The only other thing is, of course, as we saw in episode 15, where Amani's concern is the fact that he don't listen, or he's not paying attention when you're talking to him. And this whole thing they brought up about the burqa versus the burger. And, I don't know if maybe he just didn't clearly understand. I don't even think that would have been a relevant example. I could see if she was, telling him something extremely important and he was just like, huh? And maybe that's the case. We don't know what goes on behind the scenes. But even the Grandma Yvonne told him the same thing. Like, dude, one thing I want you to remember, because your grandfather do the same thing, you got to pay attention and listen. And you got to be consistent. And Woody is definitely, he's agreeable. He's willing to make changes. He's willing to work on things. Amani can be a little, down to earth and rigid. She move at her own speed, and she can do that. But it seems that, he's a little bit more agreeable. This whole thing about this dog and this baby, they'll figure out. They're probably going to end up with the dog and the baby as long as they stay the course, but they're going to be fine. And then, of course, also in episode 15, when Woody was telling her and really putting his heart on the table, I can't see my life without you. And, I love you. And I never thought I could ever fall in love until I met you. I mean, if you remember in older episodes, even his own family and friends was like, who is this man? Single Woody versus married Woody. you know. And I mean, you could see Amani's face when he was professing all of those things. He actually got kind of teared up. He got choked up because of the fact of him expressing how he feel about Amani. And I so love to see that. And he definitely promotes black love. He promotes unity within the family and things like that. And I'm hoping for great things, you know, for the two of these people. I love them. I've been following. They're one of my top couples outside of Amelia and Bennett was up there, but go check out that video because I had something to say about them earlier. They were the first set of couples that I did a journey video on. So go check that out. But with these two, I just love the fact that they seem that they're ready to do the right things necessary to make their relationship grow. Woody want to buy a house. He spends a lot of money on clothes. And you know, a lot of fans was wondering, how you living with your grandma and then you spend all this money on clothes? Well, here's some background information. Again, he does work as an educator, but he also is an entrepreneur. He has a couple businesses too. So yeah, he might spend a lot of money, but he probably also make the money as well. And he's probably been saving to buy a house. And if the grandma is okay with that, hey, that's all what counts. You know, maybe grandma is like, you know what? Put your money together, get your life and stock up. And then when you're ready to buy the house, you can stay here and save. Parents do it all the time. I do that with my 20-year-olds. You know, I helped them out while they were in college and put the money together before they can set them on their way. So who knows? And honestly, I think that, like Woody said, he got a plan. This is a man, it's not like he don't know what he's doing. His major is in accounting. You know, he teaches how to calculate numbers and things. So I give him a little bit more credit than what the show is projecting of him. And Amani is just as gorgeous, just as intelligent. I think the experts did an excellent job with these two. You know, I don't see, unless there's a deal breaker. Now, granted, they gave us these previews for Decision Day with Woody and Amani, and we get this little clip where Amani is like, I want a divorce. And of course, they showed him crying and freaking out. I'm hoping that's just a very heavy edit by production. And then the other thing is that it probably connects with the conversation they had the night before where he was like, oh, I'm going to flash out if you say no and I'm not going to walk off and all of that. Amani took offense to that, but imagine the rejection after taking him outside of his comfort zone. I don't think he's going to just erupt into this crazed, deranged individual. I honestly think that it would devastate him because up to this point, he thought they were on the same page. And for her to come out the blue and say, no, I want a divorce, that would blindside anybody. Because outside of the other couples, you know, the other three couples outside of Amelia and Bennett, they know they're on rocky terms. But for them to be going so smoothly and then to drop a bombshell of I want a divorce, of course that's going to blindside them. So in my prediction, they both say yes. I think that's a heavy edit on their production part. So that's the end of this video. Stay tuned for the next two last couples, Karen and Miles and Henry and Christina. And if you like this video, smash the like button, subscribe, and we will see you in the next video.